Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I'm your host and sometimes referee, Zach Pearson, and today I'm joined by Pika Mitsu.
I want to do more bunny races. Fucking kill me.
I'm not even going to ask what that stands for. And of course, here comes our new challenger,
The
Gino that
vibrator.
deeply.
Gino the vibrator sounds good.
Okay,
That gonna
well,
be my name from now on.
hey, look, I'm not saying it has to be. That's entirely up to you. But you've learned by now that Pika Mitsu's job in life is to say fucked up and random shit. You've learned that firsthand.
Mm.
All right. Well, before we get too far into this, or I start letting people know what we're going to talk about, let me just say right now, one of you guys go pull up that roster leak in text format and drop it in so I can read it off. And
Okay.
hey, guess what, guys? We got a lot of Marvel versus Capcom news. Well, not a lot, but just a little bit. But you know how a little bit of information works with us. It usually ends up running 10 times longer than expected. All right. So most recently, we have discovered, quote unquote, that the most recent fake leak list is pretty much not so fake. Now, the thing is that it seems to be an incomplete roster by default because we don't know who the DLC characters are, as well as much like Street Fighter V, we don't know when or where the DLC character chain is going to stop per year. We just know that there's going to be five this year. That's right. I'm not fucking counting Sigma because the bitch is already on the goddamn disc. But yeah. Now, this list in particular, from what I can remember, and if you guys have it in front of you, uh, pull off where I left off. We have Morgan, Jeddah Doma, Arthur, Firebrand, X, aka Mega Man X, Chris Redfield, Dante, no idea which Devil May Cry format or if it's a mix, but the going rate seems to be a mix, if not specifically from five. No, that's pretty much all I remember from the Capcom side. And on the other side, we have Doctor Strange, supposedly. Stress term supposedly. Absolutely no mutant. Let me just get that little cock tease out the way so you can't say I'm being a cock tease. No fucking mutants whatsoever. Which means that 90% of the roster no longer matters. Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and Thanos, Rocket Raccoon, and that's all I can remember without looking at the list. You guys see the list? Like, who else is there that I forgot?
What site are you looking at?
It doesn't matter. It just call off anybody I forgot.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'll look up game facts.
What the fuck? No, GameFAQs is not gonna have that shit.
Looking at it right now.
You're looking at the
Well,
one.
this is the repost from the Reddit leak.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and call off that Reddit link,
Okay, give me
or
one sec.
let's call off everybody on it.
Saying the Marvel side has Iron Man, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Thor, Loki, Hulk, Hawkeye, Black Panther, Black Widow, Ant-Man, Spider-Man, Venom, Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Ghost Rider, Punisher, Ultron, Thanos, Star-Lord, Rocket with Groot, Doctor Strange. Uh, yeah, some of these don't seem right. I'm not even gonna
No, that's
like.
not the right one. That's not the one
Yeah,
from the video I
this
gave
is.
because they didn't mention the one I just remembered. I forgot Gamora.
Alright.
There has to be some way to pull this shit up. I'm pretty sure I had it, but I don't know what the fuck happened to it.
You're looking for the Maximilian Dude video?
Well, not that, just the list that he used, because that list is the one that I had partial verification was fucking accurate.
Here, I'll look it up. Maybe he puts a link in the description.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Give me a
Wow, this
second.
is an unusual start to a podcast. We can't get topic one down. Ah, that's funny.
Could talk about Tekken 7.
No, because there's nothing to say about it.
Other than it looks sick and I want it.
Well, yeah, but that's pretty much what we can say about it. Okay, let's see. News source. Yep, he left it in the description. All right, so according to a NeoGaf article, we have Arthur, Chris, Chun Li, Dante, Firebrand, Jeddah, a Monster Hunter character. No idea which one. Morrigan, Nemesis, Ryu, Spencer, who shouldn't fucking be there, but Combo Fiend probably had a lot to do with that. Strider, that Hideo, and of course X, aka Mega Man X. And on the Marvel side, we have Ant-Man, Cap America, Cap Marvel, Doctor, who is also strange, Gamora, Hawkeye, Hulk, Iron Man, Nova, Rocket mixed with Rocket Raccoon mixed with Groot, Spider-Man, which one no, Thanos, Thor, and Ultron. And supposedly Venom is a guaranteed DLC character, and Sigma is too. But as we all know, Sigma's on the goddamn disc already, so fuck that bullshit. Okay, now with that being said, guys, uh, we're gonna start with the old fogies, which is basically me and Mr. Pika. How you feeling about that list, Pika?
I'm feeling that I like Morrigan on there because I played her in every one, and Morrigan is a succubus, which means when she suck, you bust. So I'm happy with this. And as far as the Marvel side, they need Wolverine. He's like one of the staples throughout the series.
There's like 4 different fucking Wolverines now any goddamn way.
Yeah, they can't put one in there? I mean, come on, that is a huge oversight. But getting a lot of new mix in is nice. Like you said, Spencer does feel kinda eh, but other than that, I'm interested to see what this cast will do, what kind of combinations will come from these new characters, and what kind of combos are going to be flying across the screen. So I'm I'm happy to see what's going to happen.
Okay, all right. What about you, Gino?
Honestly, I feel it's pretty. If that's the base roster, that's pretty damn weak. Just because most of them are returning from MVC3, like they're not bad choices. It's just there's nothing really like that stands out to me other than Monster Hunter. Like I'd be interested how they implement that, but like just really, it's really bones. It sounds like, but I don't know. I'm not very happy with current roster. There's not much to get excited about really at all. Like
You are absolutely right, good sir. Because my main concern is that roster's on some bullshit. Fuck that roster. Even if they couldn't get fucking Marvel characters, and I'll let me phrase that, the ones that a lot of people care about, aka the mutants, they could have at least got popular Marvel characters that don't have shit to do with a fucking movie. Like currently, Venom don't have fucking shit to do with a fucking movie. Spider-Man don't have fucking shit to do with a fucking movie, but everybody else, they have fucking shit to do with a fucking movie. Don't let that fool you. I am happy Gamora made it because if there was one person I thought they weren't going to even try to bring, it was Gamora. Because Gamora, well, the bullshit they gave last time for shit like Swordsman was they wanted a limit on it. That's why Blade got cut, even though he was finished, which still pisses me off. Blade got cut even though he was finished because things in me, that whole line of shit. But that might mean that they make her use or mix in sci-fi weaponry or some shit like that, which I think is kind of sort of cool to a degree, right? So my biggest problem with it isn't so much X-Men are gonna be fucking DLC. X-Men are gonna be.
Oh, jeez.
what's going
if
on
if
back there?
But I went
it,
and got them.
Gino,
What's up?
you watch Etika at all?
Oh hell yeah, dude! I love
You know,
Etika.
damn
He's
well
the
we know
man.
who Editor is. You know
Okay,
we know that.
have you caught any of his recent streams on YouTube?
No, what
Uh,
has he been doing? I
all
haven't
going
really.
on.
Well, it's not really what he's been doing on stream. It's I'm about to reference one of his most recent donation little like pop-ups that come up on his stream,
Uh,
and I am going to reference this to the chick that is apparently in Zax's background, who seems to be interrupting a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Be gone, thought!
Oh man, I haven't seen that GIF or animation, but I need to. I need to now. Be going. You ever go to the gym and just hate that the only drink that you can get is chocolate flavor? What happened to strawberry vanilla? What is strawberry vanilla ever good to anybody?
So,
Anyway, it's also the thought left. So yeah, continue.
okay. I think we're pretty much wrapped up on this first topic here.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're all pretty much in agreement. This roster is bullshit, and we understand out of all this bullshit that Marvel didn't have not Marvel. Well, yeah, Marvel and Capcom didn't have a lot of choice because they got to go through third and fourth parties like Fox and friends. So to be honest, I can understand the X-Men being an issue, but here's the problem: they have other characters that are fucking cool. And as far as the Capcom side, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it looked like the one thing they had been trying to prevent and succeeded in preventing in MVC3 actually happened. Now, I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but before we find out pretty much everything we're getting standards in MVC4 was going to get cut, a story mode, an event mode, trial mode, spectator mode, all that shit. Yeah, yeah. They were gonna Capcom shareholders or the president was trying to make it so the only new characters show up in the fucking game. Like genuinely only new characters show up. But the roster would have been too lump sided because they've only made fucking 3 new goddamn games from 2 old franchises. So that means the roster would have been 90% Resident Evil characters. Not even joking. And when they explained it to him, he either backed off or other people was like, dude, that's fucking stupid. Leave them alone. But from what I'm looking at this roster, with the exception of Arthur, it looks like most of these characters are going to do something or about to have something new come out, which to some degree is bullshit.
Honestly, Capcom has disappointed me consistently since like Ultra Street Fighter 4. That was the
Yes.
last game I remember actually like enjoying. And though I haven't played Resident Evil 7, so I can't comment on that. But as far as their fighters and every other release they've made, I've been
EEAR.
consistently
Elliot.
disappointed. So I have no reason to really hope for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite to be good. I'm just gonna wait on it. We'll see. I hope
Well,
it's good, but I have no faith in
Elliot.
Capcom anymore.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the way things are
For
looking
sure.
right now. They have to earn our trust back.
Well, remember,
And
Is it
while
just me, or is his
we
mic
knew
like
going in.
incredibly muffled?
that, and he's talking random people, so yeah.
Alright.
We already knew going in.
So,
Yeah, I can barely hear you, dude.
okay. So, while
I guess
Zach
this is
uh,
me
uh,
and you. Okay.
attempts to reset his mic there / get to a somewhat quieter area, um, you were talking about Tekken 7 a little bit earlier. Did you happen to catch any of Max's stream last night / this morning?
I did, man. Oh, the game looks so good. So like he's trash at it, but I'm really glad that Max is actually not too good at one game for once, because I don't know, I can kind of learn along with him. So
Right, and then the boss rage, he actually did a boss rage, that's what he was streaming. And he went through
nice.
the story on the hardest mode, and he went for damn near 12 hours, it seems like. And the final boss, which is Akuma, he has freaking health regen, and his power is just redonkulous. He took over 100 deaths on that dude
Damn,
alone. Over
that's
100.
rough.
Yeah, that crap's insane, dude.
That's got to be some kind of record.
Yeah, total for that run, deaths are over 500.
Damn.
I'll give him this. He was persistent though. I got to watch him like
You
finally
guys
finish
can,
him off. I was like, holy crap.
y'all can't hear me?
Okay, now I can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can hear you. You're still a little muffled, but we can hear you.
All right.
Hello.
So, yes. Moving on to topic number 2. Gino, what you beating off to nowadays?
Tekken 7.
Which person in particular?
Now let me look at the Akuma. Let's go with Akuma.
You're beating off to Akuma. My boy, I think you
Yeah,
have problems.
I'm summoning the Dark Hado.
You're summoning the Dark Hado from your erection. Boy, you need to step away from that Dark Hado. It's gonna do things to you. It's gonna make it look worse than AIDS.
Uh, but no, real talk, Akuma looks like he's gonna be like my first dude that I try. Is I'm excited to get back into Tekken just because I the last one I played was Tekken Tag on the PS2, which
Mhm.
is phenomenal by the way.
Mhm.
But Tekken 4 was like I don't know, it was a little weird. Like I wasn't the biggest fan. It
Hey,
wasn't
hey,
bad,
hey!
but
Can we not focus so much on Tekken? I mean, I'm glad y'all like it, but we do have more than one fucking topic.
We're just waiting for you
right.
to get back into a generally decent hearing range, and
I
looks like
was
you are
just
now.
buying something to
I got
drink. I
you.
didn't like disappear. I was just buying something to drink.
And a lot of noise came with you. But looks like
I
you're
got a
good
little
now.
excited.
Gotcha. I don't sound too echoey, do I?
At the end of that, yeah, but otherwise you're good.
Okay. I'd rather an echo than a bunch of loud noises.
So
All right.
anyways,
So back to what we were on topic about. Just to wrap up real quick. They have to go through a lot of other people, and I feel like I should bear repeating. I don't know how muffled it came out, but they have to go through a lot of other people just to be able to fucking get some of their own characters. Because remember, the way those contracts are with some of those people that have licenses, they're pretty much for life, or unless the company decides we fucked up so hard we can't make any more money. You know what? Just take this hobbled piece of shit back. Not to mention, let's not forget, we also got people in upper management whose favorite thing to do is basically decide that, oh, hey, I'm going to be petty and I'm not going to give you nothing back, even though we were friends until you decided we want to sue us. In fact, just a bit of a history. The reason Marvel and Fox don't get along isn't because, you know, they wouldn't give them access to their own material or anything after they had loaned them out. Because remember, Marvel almost went belly up. It's because they tried to sue. No, I'm sorry. They sued Marvel for using the word mutants in one of their other TV shows and/or properties at the time that they were making. That's actually what led to all this bullshit. That's what led to there not being an MVC3 or MVC3 taking as many years as it did, and that's pretty much what's led into still affecting us to this day. Now, some people on the Marvel and the Capcom side are with us in this whole this is petty bullshit. But here's the thing: they don't necessarily have power. Just a small history lesson. But as far as the roster, there's other places they could have pulled from. Even they could have pulled in new blood that recently got popular that everyone was just expecting. Like I honestly thought Miss Marvel would be in here. And before anybody says, but she is. No, remember, Miss Marvel changed titles now. Miss Marvel is now Captain America, and there's a new Miss Marvel with a completely different power set and is like barely even a fucking teenager. Now, I don't know what the fuck she would do in this gameplay wise, but she could be the closest thing we got to Mr. Fantastic in a way, as well as mixed with Mystique, if y'all remember her from the X-Men fame. But they just dropped the ball. And I just wanna say that in closing, that was the history on this whole incident and how even though this happened in like 2001 or two, we're still feeling it to this day and we're still getting fucked. So now if I want X-Men, I'm probably gonna have to wait more than a year and I'm gonna have to pay at least $15 to $20 just to get to a fucking X-Men. And that's really just not even fair. Now, on to our second topic, which I should pull up. Okay. It's the whole do you own your shit? Or rather, do you own an electronic device or item or software once you purchase it? Now, fairly recently, and by fairly recently, I mean about earlier this week, if memory serves, the Supreme Court basically shitted down the throat of someone in a good way, which is pretty rare for our extremely corrupt Supreme Court that we have right now. There was a printer company, I believe it was called Lexmark. You know,
Hey, I remember them.
yeah, they used to be like the biggest or slash only mass printer company you could really find in America. Lexmark decided that they were going to go out of their fucking way to try to sue people who were modifying used and one-time use cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? Supreme Court said, fuck that. So now it is officially legal for someone to own and modify anything that they own out of a digital, not a digital item, out of a that goes into a device. But now people are wondering how long until that can extend to video game consoles and also software, because as it stands right now, we technically own neither. So that's why if you modify it, even if it's little shit, everybody and their mama can fucking sue you. Now, my question to you guys is, do you think there will ever be a day, or what do you think needs to happen for us to be able to own our consoles and our systems and be able to mod them without getting into any trouble? And when I say modifications, I mean the legal stuff, like you decided to turn the color of it blue, not, oh, you're going to make it play every game for every other system and it shouldn't, like the original Xbox. Yes, folks, if you can go buy a modded Xbox, the original one, it can play every system that came out before it, literally. And we're going to start with you, Gino.
A little confused. I feel like I understand the question. You're saying essentially that like it's illegal to like mod your console like for with like small things, like you said, for example, coloring it blue. Like
It's
that's
illegal to modify your counsel, period. When it's not, when the question is, do you think there will ever come a time, now that we have at least on some level via the Supreme Court, ever come a time where we can freely modify our stuff without any legal ramifications? And if you do, what do you think has to happen?
you sure that's illegal? I'm not sure.
Gina, older than you, we know it's illegal. We've seen people go to jail, and it's been on the news before.
Damn, I I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't even aware it was illegal to do stuff like that. Is it illegal to just sell it, or is it illegal? It's not illegal to do it. I figured it was
Okay,
illegal to
we'll
like
come
sell
back
it.
to you. We'll come back to you. Pika,
All
how
right.
you feel?
Okay, so as far as my whole like view on like the rule of this, I'm going to throw out a line here that I kinda live with to this day on many different forms of things, whether it be video games or whether it be just general conversations, other topics. That line is, keep your shit to yourself. If you do that, people aren't going to find shit out.
Like
Now,
they do all end games.
now basically, this extends to legal slash illegal stuff as well. Applies to everyday stuff. Say you want to get some paraphernalia of the smoking kind and do illegal things with it. If you can find somebody who is on the low, like you set up a one-on-one with them, you get your things, they get their things, and you can do your thing, and no one will bother you. But if you start blabbing and word gets out, then you might find yourself holding onto some iron bars in front of Bubba. And Bubba, he ain't gonna use the lube.
You never cease to amaze me. I just want to say that. Continue.
Mhm. Now, as far as video games are concerned, yes, I've done my fair share of things in the past. Have I said much about it? No. You want to know why? Because I keep shit to myself. Most of it was for experimentation to see if I could actually do the things, because let me tell you, if you want to try to modify your console in whatever way, shape, or form that you want to do, whether it be a case replacement, putting lights on it, or otherwise, you are in for quite a treat if you think it's just going to be easy, because it's not. It includes a lot of work, no matter what you want to do. But if you are actually able to accomplish what you set out to do, congratulations, you did it. 90% chance that it's illegal right now, but hey, you did it. Now keep it to yourself and you won't have it taken away from you. As long as people keep things to themselves, it'll be fine. Don't go sharing about the internet, oh, hey, here's how you can do this and this and this and this. That's how you get people on your ass. Keep it on the low low. Learn from very, very quiet sources. Things will be fine. Will these things ever become 100% completely legal? Hell no. People want to sue, people want to get money, people want to be dicks. It's never going to be 100% legal. But will they get some leniency anytime soon? Possibly. It just depends on how much of a dick the game companies want to be with their consoles. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay, well, as far as my perspective, and I got one of the older perspective because I've seen this rise, fall, go into neutral territory, negative territory, positive territory, and I pretty much piggyback what you say, so that's why my opinion is going to be short. A lot of it is based on the whim of the company, but here's the thing: sometimes it's not even based on the whim of the company; it's based on the whim of the company's legal team. Because let's be honest, if you're Shigeru Miyamoto, creator of about I think 8 franchises and over 100 characters, are you really going to notice or hear or see every single time somebody makes a fan game modification, blah, 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 blah? No. I promise you, Miyamoto barely ever probably even gets on fucking YouTube. And it's not because he's busy, it's because he don't give a shit. That does not mean the legal department in various different countries do and don't. Remember, they can be more hostile than one another because for most legal departments or teams, when they actually go into, aggressive mode, in some way, shape, or form, in a lot of places, I found out there's usually a pay increase. Now, there are companies that are good about it, and there are companies that are bad about it, and then there are companies that are good about it until you piss them off with no warning. The biggest example, or the one who's been in this the most, I would say, is Sega. Did y'all know that since Sega pretty much admitted they're retiring 2D Sonic, as in them making 2D Sonic, a lot of people taking the old Sonic programming and coding have been making games for almost 19 years.
Hmm.
I mean,
I'll take
was
I'll take that as a no.
I wasn't
So
aware of the Sonic community, but I was definitely aware of there's a big scene with Dreamcast fan games being made. That
no, it's older than that. Like I said, 19 years. It has its own website, and it's still around. And it's I've been going to it. The first time I went to it was like as early as like 97 or 99. They got everything from 2D versions of Sonic fighting games to their own version of how a Sonic game should play. In fact, Sega hired some of these people who've got over 18 years of experience modifying and making Sonic games for Sonic Mania. So that's a good case. That's a positive case. But guess what? On the same flip side, Sega pretty much admitted behind closed doors they can't bring Fantasy Star Online to over to America, even though they had demos at E3 and they had a English website. The main reason that we can find is because how internet data and servers are maintained and handled in America will cost too much based on the amount of people that would want to play the game. So instead of doing something smart, like I don't know, making an offline story mode, because every other one has had that in it, they just said fuck it. But here's the thing: various Japanese hackers were nice enough to translate the games in Spanish, Russian, and English and let us play it. And the producer of the series, who happens to be an actual programmer for the original Fantasy Star Online back in '99, stated that, oh, this is fine, we don't care, just don't mess with the real game files. If you go and alter text, that's perfectly okay. But of course, that only lasted so long. So 2 years later, or early last year, there was something called the damage parser. I don't understand what the fuck a damage parser does. I'm not even going to pretend to. But that, for us to see it modified or mess with some internal coding stuff. So Sega was like, no, stop it. And to which they said, no, fuck you. So now Sega's like, okay, fine. If we catch anybody who has a hack or modification on, even no matter where the IP address is, you're getting perma banned. So, like I said, it can go either way. And also, they're on the hunt for Ida Ena. Ida, or AID or DA, is a Japanese bilingual person who ripped open the game in the first place, and by herself, no less. She has her own Discord channel and everything, and the modification is so smart and easy to install now. It's easier to install than the actual fucking game. And it loads in the game too. It actually downloads the game for you without having to worry about a server crash potentially. So I know it can go any way. But my problem is that there are no guidelines specifically given to us or handed down from federal government. Everybody just goes by their terms of service violations, which no one ever reads. And it tells you, you don't own your games. Even if they're digital, you don't own your games. Physical, you don't own them. Nothing. You own the plastic the CD is on. You don't own the data on it. And you are not allowed to mess with it unless they just say it's okay, which they never do. They're just going to let you until somebody does something they don't like, send out a cease and desist, or immediately just try to take them to court. And a lot of these companies, they actually pay people, which is weird and it's really disturbing. They pay people to not tell them how badly they lost or what they lost in these court cases with fan games and independent media. So for me, I think that there will never be a time where we end up with a situation where they pretty much allow everything. That's never going to happen because first off, what if your game gets popular? Who's going to sit down, go through every single thing before it comes out? Are you going to hire a new team just for mods that you're not getting money off of to make sure nothing they do is doesn't violate your standards or rules? I think the federal government or really the Supreme Court just needs to say, look, they physically own it. You can't fuck with them unless they're giving out their mod or distributing their modification because that can damage or corrupt the property, the image, literally the image of the character or something like, oh, someone makes a really nice, cool mod, but they secretly sneak in a virus or some crap like that. And it could potentially damage people wanting to buy your game and shit like that. But I honestly feel like that legislation isn't going to happen until maybe 5 or 6 years down the line during the next generation of stuff. Now, let's go back to you, Gino. Now that you understand more, what do you think?
Ask a question really quick.
No one's going to stop you.
If you like, let's say I got this game here. I don't know, Mortal Kombat Deception, Soul game, no online capabilities. If I were to mod, so you're telling me if I were to mod this game somehow,
Yes,
it's
we
still
already answered
technically
that
illegal.
question. We already
So
answered that
wait,
question.
okay, so that's it's pretty crazy. But I was not aware. I'm just finding this out now. I had no idea, to be honest. Honestly, I would need to do more of my own research to form my own opinion. So I don't really have an opinion, unfortunately. I don't mean to. I know that's kind of a cop out, but catching me off guard a little bit.
Well, if we catch you off guard, it's not really a cop out. A fair answer and an honest answer is the only thing we ask for. That being said, I mean, I don't understand how off guard you are caught because it's illegal, even if you didn't know it. So, what do you think should be done that could possibly make it legal, or do you think it'll stay illegal? But if you don't have a knowledgeable answer right now, that's perfectly fine. We can just move into the final topic. Okay. Um, licensed games. Do you think there's anything that can be done with a licensed game that can make?
Uh-oh.
Just repeat the last part. You kind of backed out a little bit.
Trust me. No, no, no. I stopped you from hearing something. Okay. Um, in the case of licensed games, do you think there will ever be a point in time, or is there a way for license holders to get familiar and back into good standings with video game developers so we can get good licensed games more consistently? Or do you think it's just going to be limited to companies that go out of their way to go to licensure and get it commissioned? For example, you're almost never going to find a bad Spider-Man game because people want to make Spider-Man games. Whereas a movie game, 90% of them are going to be bad because they're rush pieces of shit. Do you ever think we're going to go back to the balance that we used to have in the 90s? And if so, how? And if not, why? Gino?
Well, I don't know. Is it just me, or I feel like licensed games have gotten substantially better in the
No.
No,
past couple of years?
it's
I don't know.
just
I
you.
do.
It's just you.
The only one I can think of that was really a bomb, like, was Alien. What is it? Colonial Marines. That's the only one that comes to mind that it was like a substantial bomb. But Alien Isolation was amazing. Like for a licensed game, it was one of the
Let him
best I've
let him
ever
finish,
played.
Tommy. We'll get him later.
I don't know. Wait, what's up? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Well, we were just reacting to the shock that you would say something like that. But again,
Well, the
we
thing
respect
is
and
that
we value
there's
honest
just
opinions, so it's not like we're gonna dog you for it.
well, the thing is, it's just like nowadays it's a bigger market, so a lot of these companies I feel tend to realize that they can make a lot more profit on these things, so they can well, to be fair, now that I think about it, there were a lot of shooting Marvel games on the 360. Like I think they were made. A lot of them were made by Sega. Mistaken. I think the Iron Man one and the Thor one. I'm trying to think back to.
All of them were made by Sega, and yes, they suck balls.
I remember the Wolverine. I'm just trying to think of examples off the top of my head of good ones that came out. The Wolverine Origins game was pretty damn good. What I remember. Uh, no, I there's some other good licensed games that have come
You
out
don't
in the
need to
years.
give examples, bro. That wasn't the actual question.
No, but I don't know. For me, I haven't. Like I said, the only one I can think of that was like a substantial bomb was Alien Colonial Marines. That's why I'm asking you guys: is there any other like huge bombs that you guys can think of that was like super terrible as far as licensed games? Because as
All
far
of
as I
them.
can recall, as
All
far
of
as I
them.
recall,
10 years.
um, as far as I recall, uh, I can't think of any that were like genuinely terrible. A lot of them just tend to come out and be mediocre, if anything. In fact, there was another Aliens game on the DS that was really really good. It was like a Metroidvania style one. That wasn't too well. It's not that recent, but still. Can you guys think of any examples of ones that have substantially bombed in the past couple of years, other than Aliens Colonial Marines?
Dozens. And in fact, while you were talking, I even Googled it. They pretty much all still do shit numbers. But let's move on. Pika, what's your opinion?
Okay, so let's go back 1 year, just 1 year, to 2016. 2016 was a mixed bag for the Ghostbusters franchise.
Ah,
There were
forgot about that game.
two good
Right.
things, and there were two bad things that came out for the Ghostbusters franchise. The good things were that Ecto Cooler came back for a limited time. That was very
Damn.
nice.
Movie.
And the pinball table came out for Ghostbusters, which was based on the original movie, which is very fun. Now, the things that were bad for Ghostbusters last year was that horrible abomination of a movie that came out, and the even worse abomination of a game that was tied to that movie.
I didn't even know that was a thing. That tells you how
Yeah.
bad it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was terrible.
the
That
thing
I forgot about that.
it's a good thing that you did, because I still remember it.
That
And
we did have the 2011 one too.
but yeah, just recent things like that absolutely fucking bombed. You have to remember, when movies come out, developers are they're going to try to get a quick buck because they're just in it for the money. It's unfortunate that things have gotten this bad over the years, but that's just how it is. They think, oh, a movie's gonna do really well. We're just gonna latch onto it like a parasite, make a quick game about it, make a quick buck. But the game,
Okay. Do you
90% of the
think
time,
it
is
can
gonna be
be
shit.
fixed? Yeah. Okay. So do you think that can be fixed in this day and age, or do you think we just need to accept that they're mostly going to be garbage?
It can be fixed. You just have to get the right developer behind the right movie, and you're gonna have yourself a really good game. But you have to think about it. Movies are only going to be relevant for a certain amount of time after they come out. So you have to get a developer that can work very well, very fast. And there aren't too many of those out nowadays. So odds are still going to remain low that good licensed games are going to come out. We just need those developers that can work quick, fast, and good to step up to the plate again. Otherwise, we're just going to keep seeing lines of shit.
Okay, well, mine is pretty much the same, but there's a slight deviation. I think it can be fixed. So mine has a silver line of hope, or really just a copper line of hope, but it's really more like a shit stain line of hope. It just looks coppery. Basically, the way I see it, these the problem is that everybody wants to throw money at somebody to do a fucking rush job, even though they shouldn't. If you don't rush the $100 million to $1 billion budget movie, and you make sure it takes years to develop, and you plan ahead, you can take not even 10% of that, or you can take 10% of that, blow it on a game, and make sure you give them at least, you know, a proper 12-month to 24-month cycle. The biggest problem that they fucking have is that they want everybody to do their shit in 8 to 9 months. They want the movie to already be done and them just be waiting on a release date to be in theaters before they do the fucking movie. One of the biggest cases in point of that situation, fucking Tron. Tron did good. It actually did good. It did better than they expected, and the game was hot ass. And the only reason that game came out is because the people who liked Tron wanted Tron so much that they told the company, "We'll do it for half the budget or almost half the budget, pennies really, of what the other guy who was making an equally as good game wants to charge." See, Tron was one of those rare cases where they wanted people to make the game and people wanted to make the game. But of course, you know how Disney is. We had to piss a shit ton of money. So instead of doing the right thing, they decided to do the piss a shit ton of money thing. Now, as far as being able to fix it, it's not going to be fixed until there are demands, or rather, I want to say it's hard to describe. Basically, think of it as like a sort of licensed game union that basically says you guys can't even approach us about a licensed game on a major console or the PC unless you're going to guarantee we get at least 13 months of development time. Because all these games, they're pretty much not getting it. Even Ninja Turtles by Platinum Games. Let me just say something. If Platinum Games can't even make a fucking action game of one of the most storied team beat 'em up action franchises in 8 months, that should tell you right there, right then and now, you need to stop your shit. You really do. But of course, that's not going to happen. You know why? Because we need to be in a position where the people who decide these licensed products for video games need to be overseen by video gamers who can tell these companies, get the fuck away from them with this 8 month bullshit. You may think that it's just a quick cash in, but if you ruin their business and their name, how they gonna feed their families? Which they're not gonna care about because they have too much money and they can clog their ears up with it. So honestly, I feel like it can be fixed, but I don't foresee it happening. I know that sounds like a dick thing, but that's just how it is for me. Also, again, it doesn't take a lot of Googling to see the train wreck bad license games that come out consistently. That being said, you guys got any final statements or final opinions?
No,
Mm,
really, I'm good.
All
mm,
right. Well, this has been another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I will see you guys when I see you guys.
Yeah.